The Honorable, the Speaker.
Okay, good day everyone. Welcome back to our second sitting of the House. Once again, we pray that everything goes well during this debate and that all members remain respectful. Amen.
Bills brought by the Senate, provisions, papers, statements by ministers.
I have received the following correspondence dated December 20th, 2022, from the Minister of Red Shiny Noses, stating that men make better leaders than women. Minister of Red Shiny Noses,
Good afternoon, speakers, opposition, and members of parliament. Today, the Mistletoe Warriors will convince you that the statement men make better leaders than women is true. In this day and age, the thought of saying that is despicable, but we have come prepared to defend our claim. A study conducted by the women political leaders and Kantar showed that despite the push for greater equality in terms of leading, society has not become more progressive. What does this mean? Well, people are still more likely to listen to a man than they are a woman. We want to make it clear that we are not saying men are better leaders because they are men, but due to their general temperament and the social conditioning that they go through. What does this mean? Well, they are taught to be more confident and more emotionally stable even from a young age, even if it is to the extreme, and they are also taught to be more courageous. Though women are often taught to be self-doubting, so is this okay? Am I doing this good enough? And to wallow in their feelings or to place incredible amounts of work on them. Men are taught to delegate tasks easily, which is also extremely important in a leadership position. Men tend to be more strategic. A study showed that men in the UK were seen as more strategic planners when compared to women. They also tend to be more straight to the point, so there's less beating around the bush when it comes to problems or issues. They are more hands on, more task oriented. They tend to think quicker and also act quicker than a woman would. They also tend to make decisions quicker when compared to women. This brings me on to my next point, decisiveness. A random sample of 2,000 people from different cultures showed that men were twice as likely to make a decision immediately and in a more decisive style when compared to women. This shows that they have the ability to make tough decisions better than women. And women also tend to be more passionate when making decisions. And of course, with passions come emotions. Um, those are not, emotions are not usually the best thing to base your decisions off of. We also want to take in consideration the hormonal changes that do not affect men and their moods and behaviors. Men are not on a 24-hour cycle when women tend to run on a 24 to 28-day cycle. Of course, we're speaking about the menstrual cycle. This affects their hormones a lot, and sources show that hormonal changes can affect mood and decision making. Again, decision making is a really big part of leadership, be it in terms of ethics or just everyday decisions. And when your hormones are constantly changing, this can become a bit more difficult. We want to leave you with this thought. Recently, there has been a lot of push for women to join STEM fields. This is science, technology, engineering, and math. This push has been by both society and by colleges. Colleges are offering full scholarships and even for women to be paid just to participate in STEM fields. There are numerous scholarships promoting women to join STEM fields, but women have not been stepping up to do so. In fact, there has been a decrease in numbers. The same can be said for leadership in a couple of years. Push for women to lead and to be seen as leaders, to be seen in leadership roles, but maybe they just simply don't want to take that role either. Maybe women don't want to be leaders or don't want to be seen as leaders. This is the end of our introduction or opening statement.
thank you, Minister. We'll now be taking a 2 minute intermission. We'll now be resuming the sitting of the House. Member for cookie decorating.
Good afternoon, Madam Speaker, distinguished guests, and fellow members of the House. Today, our team will be presenting the debate topic on men make better leaders than women. However, we, the negative team, the Polar Express elves, believe that this statement is false. Today, as the first speaker, I, Frosty, the member of Cookie Decoration, will be explaining and providing evidence of how beneficial women are and why they are characterized as transformational leaders along with their skills. Our team believes that women make better leaders than men. Women used to be neglected in significant decisions in the past. However, today's society, women make up half of the population's working age. Historically, it is definitely seen that businesses with female executives have performed much better than their male counterparts during economic crisis. For my first point, I will be explaining how beneficial women leaders are. Again, female leadership can have many benefits. Most organizations look at strategies to improve their financial performance, and it is clearly seen that a woman's leadership has helped companies around the world earn profits and stay away from bankruptcy. For example, Advanced Micro Devices was near bankruptcy 8 years ago. However, with the implementation of a female leader, Lisa Su, she became the CEO in 2014. By concentrating on the business's advantages and cutting edge technologies, she has helped AMD turn things around, bringing its market cap beyond $100 billion in 2021. Therefore, having female leaders in an organization gives a company's board of directors new insights and enhances the company's potential to make money from its assets and investments. Aside from that, women in leadership are often described as transformational leaders because they place emphasis on communication and performance as well as cooperation, morale, and motivation. Success for transformational leaders goes beyond achieving objectives. They also want their team to improve as a whole, whereas men are more likely to be transactional leaders. They are goal oriented and demand their team to uphold high standards. They might be less focused on the steps needed to accomplish these goals. According to the International Women Forum, they conducted a survey of men and women leaders as there were majority of similarities. However, there were differences noted where the men and women leaders provided a description of their leadership performance. The survey concluded that men were more transactional leaders. In other words, they see job performance as a series of exchanges with subordinates, like exchanging praises for work or reprimand poor performance. They also concluded that women are characterized as highly as transactional leaders, or in other terms, they influence colleagues to change their own self-interest into the group's benefit by making them care about a bigger objective. Furthermore, rather than emphasizing organizational status, they attribute their influence to personal qualities like charm, people skills, diligence, or personal connections. Burns suggests that transformational leaders should be one who can influence, inspire, stimulate their creativity and innovation, and social individualized consideration to workers through mentoring and understanding their needs. These are four prime factors for being successful leaders. Hackman, 1992, pages 311 to 319, states that females perform better in individualized consideration in transformational leadership theory, especially when compared with men. They emphasize more on the need of workers and keep an eye on workers. With regards to individualized consideration, women tend to portray this more to workers, which is very important, which is a very important element for being a leader. To be a transformational leader through mentoring followers, the leaders can encourage workers to stretch their potential fully. It is essential for a leader to find potential of their workers, therefore they can have a greater contribution to the company and increase their working ability. Also, female transformational leaders build up better relationship with their subordinates. As a result, subordinates can express their views to women leaders in an easy way by knowing how the feelings of workers. They can know how to implement policies in order to provide a better working environment for them. Thus, women leaders can manage the workers in an efficient way. So, Madam Speaker, distinguished guests, and fellow members of the House, as I conclude, I strongly believe that women make better leaders than men. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now be taking a 2 minute intermission. Okay, we'll now be resuming the sitting of the House. Minister of Holly and Jolly.
Good afternoon, everyone. Firstly, I'll start off with a point that in today's society, we can agree that people are more likely to follow or listen to a man compared to a woman. As mentioned in the introduction, based on a study by women political leaders and Kantar, it showed that inequality persists on how society views leadership. It was conducted in 7 countries, including the United States and Canada, and found that majority of the people, approximately 69%, who partook in the survey were more comfortable having a male leader compared to a female. Because when someone thinks of a leader, they immediately think of a male, but because majority of leadership roles are in fact filled by males. This can be because, according to the American Psychological Association, men tend to have a more commanding and controlling style or air about them compared to women, who is seen as more nurturing and cooperative. Men are more task-oriented and direct. When they have a goal in mind, they do whatever they need to do to accomplish it, regardless of the consequences. Hence why many CEOs can be considered cold or unemotional. Because of these traits, it's common for individuals to follow a male leader compared to a female. Female leaders are more susceptible to be taken advantage of compared to a male because of a woman's natural caring, understanding, and nurturing nature, and many people may not view them as the type to be ruthless or cutthroat. Men also provide direction for their employees. They take charge, and some tend not to delegate or trust their staff to make their own decisions. However, women tend to encourage their employees to find their own paths or make decisions on their own with little guidance on their part. Additionally, men tend to be good at branding themselves. This means they let others know about their accomplishments. However, women tend to be more modest or silent about their accomplishments. To be a successful leader, it is said that women must learn to brand themselves by sharing their achievements and skills with others. After all, it's hard for a person to advance as a leader if people don't know what you're capable of. Branding also brings a leader more respect in their positions. Another point is that women are more indecisive compared to a man. Firstly, I think most of us can agree when it comes to something as simple as choosing something or somewhere to eat, you'd quicker get an answer from a man compared to a woman. This alone can prove how many, if not all women can be very indecisive. According to many research articles, at least 90% of them that I found stated that men are more decisive compared to women, but this can be due to the fact that men are more impulsive. They tend to act before they think, whereas women think or sometimes overthink before they can make a decision. While this is not necessarily a bad thing, when it comes to certain aspects of a company or business, many people may want a leader who can make a decision quickly or on the spot compared to a long drawn out thought process, especially if this can cause an opportunity to be missed. Women are also quicker to change their minds or regret making a decision because they may make it in haste or in anger, but after they have time to reflect on it, that decision can easily change, and this can hinder progress because the company will have to backtrack to accommodate this change, or the opportunity can be lost altogether. Fear of the unknown may also allow a woman to miss an opportunity, whereas a man is more willing to venture into the unknown and take a risk regardless of the consequences. And this concludes our first point.
Thank you. We will proceed with 2 minutes intermission. We'll now be resuming the sitting of the House. Member for present wrapping. Can the member for present wrapping start their rebuttal, please?
Good morning, Madam Chairman and distinguished guests. The topic for our debate is that men make better leaders than women. We are on the negative team and believe that this statement is false. The first speaker of the affirmative team has tried to tell you that women are more indecisive. With regards to the differences of female and male leaders in decision making, it is evident that to show that women emphasize on interaction with subordinates. According to the Room and Eaton 2008, male and female leaders perform very differently in making decisions. For males, they are more autocratic, while women tend to encourage subordinates to participate in decision making. Women are more participative, and they try to pursue the consensus of all workers through discussions with them. Women will collect views from workers and do analysis with them. On the other hand, autocratic leaders mean that they make more decisions. Our first speaker has highlighted the numerous benefits of having female leaders in the company, including their tendency to be transformational leaders and how this enhances their effectiveness in the workplace. Today, I will be sharing with you two reasons why women are just as effective, if not more effective, compared to men. My first point is that women are more empathetic and emotionally intelligent than men. The reason for this is that women often find that this is a more suitable way to lead instead of being assertive and dominating. The Harvard Business Review 2020 states that empathy allows female leaders to better understand and relate to people they are leading, which can improve morale and productivity. Emotional intelligence, meanwhile, enables women to navigate complex interpersonal dynamics and make well-informed decisions. According to Glasshammer 2019, women were 96% more likely than men um, to be seen as consistently demonstrating emotional self-awareness as a competency. Many female leaders have used these leadership skills to their advantage in their career. Professor Claude Helen Mayer and Mitchell May have published research on female leaders who have demonstrated strong emotional intelligence and effective leadership, such as Angela Merkel and Jacinda Ardern. Merkel is known for her calm and calculated decision making and advocacy for equality and social justice, while Arden is praised for her empathetic and passionate leadership style and the ability to unite people and find solutions to complex problems. Now, my second point is that women are more often qualified than men in similar positions as them. The Harvard Business Review states that men apply for a job when they only meet 60% of the qualification, but women apply only if they meet 100% of them. That's because historically women have been underrepresented in leadership roles, which means that when they are in positions of power, they often have to work harder than their male peers. As a result, women who become leaders may be more skilled and more committed to their jobs. According to Britannica 2022, Angela Merkel has a doctorate in physics, which is not usually a requirement for the position of chancellor. Similarly, Jacinda Ardern has a master's degree in international relations, which is not usually required for a prime minister role. Of course,
Member,
having,
your
yes,
time has expired.
okay, thank you.
No problem. We'll now be taking a 2 minute intermission before the next speaker takes the floor. We'll now be resuming the sitting of the House. I now call upon the Minister of Brilliance and Excellence.
Good afternoon, Madam Speaker, distinguished guests, and honorable members of the House. This is my rebuttal. So the member for present wrapping has stated that women collect views and analysis from them and feedback, and they're more emotionally intelligent and they're more empathetic. But I beg to differ, because you would find that women are more emotionally charged in their decision making and may not necessarily contribute to objective decision making. This state of being an emotional creature, of being an emotional being, it affects communication within the organization. Females are also concerned about whether they're liked or perceived as competent within the organization. Right? So if a female leader is exhibiting a high competence and strength, there's a good chance that she'll take a hit on her likability, especially among other females in the organization. I'm pretty sure that the women in this honorable house would have at some point come under attack from another female within their career or within the organization. Also, that women are overqualified and highly skilled for their position that they take in leadership. I beg to differ, because there are women, because of some of them, their negative views to leadership, they contribute to inefficiencies and incompetent results also. They, there's something called the relative deprivation theory, right? There's a study conducted by the Pew Research Center in 2015 that indicated that women tend to internalize a second-class attitude that negatively affects their self-confidence. And then they tend to work they want to do the same work as a male, as a man, or the same rank as a man, but they settle for lower income levels than their male colleagues. And I'm sure a lot of you can agree with me on that, right? But the character of the woman accepting less than men, it signifies a low self-confidence, and it facilitates a poor reward system in appreciation for the leadership skills. So your point on being highly skilled and overqualified for the positions, but yet still you are accepting less pay and you're working yourself more than the male counterparts. And I would also say that men are also better at communicating and maintaining these relationships, because too much of the empathy and emotion from women, they tend to complicate work relationships. And women are more prone to meddling or micromanaging within the organization. So moreover, men prove to be better than women on matters such as the ability to develop and to maintain these efficient relationships with these subordinates because of their ability to put aside their feelings and to maintain the lines of communication on issues affecting the organization. All right. So, members of the House, Madam Speaker, distinguished guests, and members, I beg the question, right? There are also concerns that women only hold a low percentage, 35% of senior leadership positions compared to men who represent 65% of all leadership positions within the United States. And this was a study conducted by Zipper.com, Women in Leadership Statistics 2022. So the question I am asking this Honorable House is, if women are better leaders, then why are they not in charge? Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. We'll now be taking a 2 minute intermission. We'll now be resuming the sitting of the House. Member for S'mores Manufacturing.
Good afternoon, Madam Chairman, members of the House, and distinguished guests. I am here to rebut the point that the Minister of Brilliance and Excellence facts be right. Women have been seen to occupy senior positions and leadership roles compared to men. This is seen from the Global Gender Gap Report in 2022. The Global Gender Gap Index is indicated that there's an increase in the women's share of senior and leadership roles across the world for the past 5 years. Now, listen to this study. It shows that results were discovered during two studies that examined gender differences in leadership effectiveness based on the data from thousands of leaders. These studies were data These studies were data summarized across 99 samples of leadership studies found that when looking at data from all sources, that is a combination of self ratings and other ratings, it seems that there were no gender differences in leadership effectiveness. But to further reiterate, they discovered that when it comes to self-rated, that means that the leader themselves gives themselves a rating. Men Male managers tend to give themselves higher leadership effectiveness ratings than female managers do. Meanwhile, if we look at ratings from other sources, which are supervisors and subordinates, female managers receive higher leadership effectiveness ratings than their male counterparts. And this brings to show that males exhibit a sense of self-confidence, as you were implying, that you think that females are not decisive enough. But we are here to prove that the supervisors, subordinates of these female managers are saying that they have been seen to show higher leadership ratings. And this brings about the point that males are transactional leaders. That's what you were saying. And females, which the Against team is also reiterating, we are transformational leaders. And transformational leaders, they display leadership through core values. And these core values exhibit integrity, fairness, accountability, cooperation, and motivation. Whereas transactional leaders focus on goals, rewards, punishments, and reactive in nature. So, as a woman, would you stand here and say that you can exhibit things by going to somebody else and saying you would allow them to conduct a deal just to receive your organizational goal, or rather than going to them and digging through all the hard facts and doing all the work just to find the gap that makes you achieve the goal by working harder? And that was the point that Ivy was trying to make, that women make better leaders since they are able to work harder and get more things done than males. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now be taking another 2 minute intermission. Okay, we'll now be resuming the sitting of the House. Minister of Fun and Games.
Good day, Madam Speaker. Good day, House of Representatives and distinguished guests. In today's conclusion, in today's debate, we are going to conclude the argument of men make better leaders than women. Our team firmly believes that this claim is true since men are more objective than women and as emotionally inclined when making decisions. However, women having traits of a good leader doesn't always mean that they are good leaders since they are empathetic, which can sometimes complicate the relationships that they have among subordinates, which can sometimes lead disagreements or even disputes amongst them. Men tend to think more logically as they are task oriented and nurtured into this trait from a young age with more expectancy of acting more dominant than women. In society, men are seen to be more proactive in decision making and physical activities throughout various sectors in both the economy and their daily lives. Statistics have also shown that in sectors that require more physical activity, such as construction, carpentry, and plumbing, men would make better leaders since they are more hands on deck, whereas women are known to be the ones that work in areas that require more attention and ideas and less physical activity, such as having the ability to nurture a child. Thank you.
Thank you for that contribution. We will once again be taking a 2-minute intermission. Okay, we'll now be resuming the sitting of the House. Member for cake making.
Good evening, Madam Speaker, distinguished guests, and fellow members of the House. To summarize my team's case, we believe that women in positions of authority to act as role models is essential, not only for women's career advancement, but as well as for many aspects of life. For instance, to achieve wage equality and to change workplace policies to benefit both men and women to create a diverse workplace. Having women as leaders is important as they prioritize their and their members' professional development and promotes innovative thinking, making them productive leaders today. It is a fair claim since women are frequently more emotionally sophisticated as they are better at feeling, understanding, and experiencing other people's emotions around them, giving them an advantage over men because they can have a great rapport with others. Women are exceptional at overcoming adversity, taking the lead, and exhibiting high integrity and honesty, making them highly effective. To Madam Speaker, distinguished guests, and fellow members of the House, in conclusion, we believe women do make better leaders in today's world. As once quoted by Oprah Winfrey, the world's most prominent women leaders shows the importance of honesty, courage, impact, and decisive action in leadership, and that's what we believe. Thank you.
Honorable members, the question is, do men make better leaders than women? All those in favor, please show by a show of hands. Any against? All right. Thank you. We'll now be taking an 8-minute assessment period to determine the final ruling.